And we're out. So thank you very much. And thank you. I felt bad springing Jenna on you at the last moment. For people
not
listening
a problem.
to the post show, Jenna was obviously, as you know, a contestant on Face Off as well. And it kind of just, she was getting off work a little early today, and I was like, well, maybe we can do that. And she wanted to do it, and so I emailed you, but I know that I wouldn't have met Jenna if it wasn't for Face Off, because we met at the Austin Film Meet, and somebody, I guess I was talking about my love of effects there or something like that, and somebody met Jenna and said, well, you should go talk to Christopher. And I was getting ready to do a movie, and we just kind of, it was kind of like this fast friendship where I was like, you look familiar. And she's like, well, I was on Face Off. I was like, oh, okay. And then my older daughter, who was 7 or 8 at the time, knew who she was from the show. And so that was like, she came over and she was like, there's someone from TV on in our house. And we kind of went on an adventure together. Yeah. This movie, The Quantum Terror, that I made in my house. And Jenna was, I don't know how much you want to talk about what actually happened, but there was like all this turmoil going on, and it ended up kind of just being this really positive experience that I think helped us both. And it's just, like you said, just the appreciation of the art. I never learned to sculpt really well or mold or anything like that, but I just have a passion for this art form, and I love the pre-production process. For me is where the magic really happens, because I love to draw and use Photoshop, and I really love to storyboard, which is something I guess that's unusual, because I kept showing my storyboards to everyone, and I went, are these all right? Are these helpful? And they went, we never get storyboards.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what to add to that, but the show is definitely meant a lot to me, and all the other kind of the incarnations of shows that kind of tried to, I don't know if I want to say piggyback on Face Off, but there was Monster Man, and then there was Hot Set, and there was the Jim Henson Challenge, and there was a couple of cosplay ones, and like I loved all of them, and none of them kind of picked up as much as Face Off, but it's like I created this show because I thought, like, yeah, this is important. And you're actually the first person I've had on the show who is really specifically the design side, the where that starts off, and I think that's incredibly important. So again,
absolutely.
Well, and so much what designers, and particularly me, because I am practical, that's where I come from. Even in the industrial design world, we had to create a medical device. It started off with a block of wood or clay, honestly. Yeah. You would saw something into submission until it looks like a medical tool. So all of my skills.
Sculpt it in clay, right?
Yeah. We did car design that way. We did car interiors, car seats, all in clay. So my background is very much practical, and even today, designing stuff for Star Trek, even though I am sculpting in the computer, for me, it's still practical because I'm doing all the same stuff. It's easier in a computer, I will admit. But everything is being printed, and those printed pieces still have to be handled by practical people who know how to mold, know how to put it together, know how to paint it, and because it comes up printed with lines and it's not painted. So practical is yes, probably becoming less and less. But it isn't going away anytime soon.
Well, I think it's wonderful that people still want to see something material on screen, and I think that again, that's partly thanks to Face Off, and there have been other people. My friend Alec Gillis, who made his movie Harbinger Down, he wanted to do it as an all practical movie, and for me, it was a saving grace because there's no way I could have CGI in my movie. The budget was $15,000, so we were making everything out of packing tape and bubble wrap, and Jenna was, I was sending, and Jenna was incredibly patient with me as well, because sometimes I would be so hands-on, like, no, I'm going to make this. I know exactly what this creature needs to be. I'm going to make it. And then it would be I'd get it to a certain point, and I'd hand it to her, and I'd be like, okay, finish it off so it looks really good. And then there would be other times where I was like, I don't know what this is going to be. can I just send you home and can you bring me something back? And she'd be like, well, what do you want? And I'd be like, I don't know what you want. This is your time to go crazy and make something that you think you've read the script, you've seen the other stuff we're making, and I put that responsibility entirely on her shoulders. But for a low budget project, if there weren't audiences that still didn't have a hunger for that, I wouldn't be able to do it because there's no way I could do it in CGI. And the very fact that you're dealing with things that are 3D printed instead of just, digitally rendered and shoved on the screen, that tells me that, that the movie industry isn't suffering from that as much as maybe some people like to believe. And otherwise they would just do that. And I think it's wonderful that you're able to be like, I need this part. I mean, I've kit bashed a lot of stuff, and you got to work with what you have. But to be able to say, I need this part, and I need it to be this size and these dimensions and look like this, and to be able to design that and then physically print it out. I mean, even like 10 years ago, that sounds like a miraculous thing. So,
yeah, and it was 10 years ago. It's miraculous now, really. The stuff that we're doing on Star Trek and I've been printing and 3D modeling stuff for years. I am still blown away by what we can do, and I know this is a whole different conversation, but the fact, if you're going to use 3D, if you're going to use computers, going back to the Spider-Man line, if you're going to wield that power, you have a responsibility to do something with it of value, because otherwise, why not make it for real? Why not make it out of tangible, real stuff? Because I see people printing stuff totally unnecessarily. So whenever I use it, it's because I can't, either in the time frame or I just can't make it by hand. It's not physically possible to actually make something other than printing it. That's where it's cool. And that's why, this is not something public just yet, but when you get to see this Star Trek TV show and you see the Klingon spacesuit, there was no way that I could have designed and made those pieces without the use of 3D technology. It was just impossible. So that's where it's a really cool thing, is if you're going to use 3D, use it to the advantages that it has over traditional skills.
There's something else I wanted to ask you, which is, I guess it's more for my own personal edification, just going back to design. And, somebody who is, I guess what would you call like a late bloomer? I'm turning 41 in a few days.
You youngin'.
And I spent a lot of the first 30 years of my life, I knew I wanted to do something artistic, but it really took me a long time to find it. And when I did find it and I knew it was going to be movie making, it was probably like I had made so many different mistakes career-wise. I found myself, I felt like it's too late to go to school and learn this stuff, and it's like I can't afford these programs, and so I decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it using the materials that I have at hand, which is kit bashing and using bubble wrap and things that I learned from my friends at Studio ADI. And, it's like I'm going to hand draw my designs and storyboards, and I'm going to make creatures out of packing tape and that sort of thing. But again, it's like now I realize, like, I'm just, like, I've kind of pigeonholed myself now. It's like I can only be a director, and that's probably, like, the most unhireable job unless you've proven yourself as a director. And I'm I'll say, Jenna and I worked very closely on the Quantum Terror, this movie that we made together, and I brought in a few other professionals that worked below their rates and that sort of thing. But I was like, this movie's almost finished, and I'm like, I bet you, like, if people in the industry were to look at how we made this movie, they would just shake their head or cringe or something. I mean, we got it done, but it's like, again, the pre-production process was my favorite part because I loved storyboarding. My storyboards were really rough. I look at other artists' storyboards, and they're immaculate and beautiful, and they can draw.
Storyboards were not
rough.
They're beautiful.
Oh, well, I believe you.
But it's, it's like one of these things as a designer. It's like you go, you just say like, I got the job done. But you just say to yourself, like, where is my place? And, and I see, and I just, like, I don't know where I'm going with this exactly. It's just that it was a really magical experience to me. But I wondered, like, does this, the audience will enjoy it, I'm sure. But, like, you wonder, like, is there any, is this only magical to me, or other people look? I don't know. It's kind of just this weird thing that I think about a lot, especially in light of, I see your ZBrush art, and there are other artists. Konstantin Securis comes to mind. I mean, they're just doing these amazingly rendered pieces, and is that what you see in the industry now, or is there this rough stuff? I mean, is it? I guess, like I said, I'm kind of searching for where I fit in as far as the indie circuit goes, because I know I'm only ever going to be indie at this point.
Mm-hmm. You don't know that.
Yeah, never know. Yeah, who knows what can happen tomorrow?
Why limit yourself?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I mean, I'm pitching tomorrow to my investor, who's a very, very awesome guy. I'm something that's like an animated show, and I'm going to show him. I'm essentially going to be convincing him, hey, I can do something that's akin to like a combination of what they did with Fire and Ice with rotoscope animation, and but using again like plastic bag monsters and quick sculpts and Photoshop and like all these kind of rudimentary design programs and that sort of thing. And it's really nerve-wracking because you go like, you see how it could be done, but you go like, if I keep on this path where I just keep on doing it my own way, am I only going to be able ever be like hireable to myself? I don't know. I guess it's kind of the Christopher existential crisis on the post-show thing. But I don't usually I talk to special effects artists, and my desire is not to become a full-on special effects artist like Jenna is. But I'm moving back to Los Angeles soon, and I'm going to start this project. I'm trying to convince Jenna to come and move to Los Angeles too.
Do it.
Because the work out here, there's not a lot of work out here. And she's talented, she's really, like, I can't tell you how amazing she was. Just like I'm making a movie in my house, in my garage, and she's just like, just bringing these amazing elements in, again, out of nothing. I think she had her makeup kit got stolen. So
all of them got stolen.
So we had to replace it with, like I raised a bit of money and just like bought her a bunch of stuff, but it was like the bare minimum, and she was just doing amazing stuff. So I'm trying to like tell her, like, get out there. I'm hoping that she'll help us move out there, and I can go take her to visit my friends at ADI and introduce her to them and go like show her around. And I'm not saying they'd hire her because they've got their own staff and that sort of thing, but I'm just trying to get her inspired to come out, and I know
I'm inspired.
So anyway,
yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, that's for sure. And ADI staffs up and then gets rid of everyone. It's all job contingent. Alchemy has a huge crew right now, and that'll go away as the job subsides. So it's the same crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the people that we're working with at Alchemy recently were from either ADI or Legacy, and
they jumped off the shop. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they're not proud. Where's the work? I'm going.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I met Alec before he did Harbinger Down, and then I offered to help with the Harbinger Down when they were doing their Kickstarter, because my dad used to own a shop. He built road cases for bands on tour. He used to be a rock band manager, and then he got out of that. And I looked at the effects shop, and it's the same thing. You lay off or you rehire as the work comes and goes. But it's, that's the business side of it. And it's, I could imagine, I know that those effects shops, I'm sure they have lean times where they're stressing out, wondering if they're going to keep the doors open. And then other times they're,
Feast or famine.
They're booming. So, and a lot of, there's something I wanted to ask you. Do you have any desire to direct? Are you gonna
yeah, that's a good question.
I should have asked that during the other show. It's kind of something a lot of effects artists show a desire to direct, and I'm sure you've got a lot of ideas of your own things you'd like to see, or are you content to do it your way?
Well, if I'm directing, it's going to be my way.
Yeah.
Or the highway.
I meant other people's way. I said that came out. So.
Well, I don't announce it, partially because it's still in the works. But for the past 5 years, I've been transitioning into directing. That is not to say that I've transitioned out of creature design, because I'm as busy as ever. But the deal with directing, I'm shocked that anything ever gets approved to be made at the rate it takes to get a script looked at. So I've written many treatments. I've got a few scripts in the works. I've been this close to directing a pretty substantial feature, and that's all part of the process of learning. Like, 2-picture deal with one production company and a single picture deal with another, and they were all legit. We're moving. We got our VFX budget in place, and we're starting to consider casting. We're talking about names and talking about when we're going to shoot, and then it's gone. It's all over. And you move on to the next dream, and that's part of the maturation of becoming a director, is to begin to get rid of the delusion, of becoming a director. And so, yeah, I don't say it to many people simply because it sounds so freaking Hollywood. Yeah, I got scripts, I got people I'm talking to. Who knows, Christopher, man? When it happens, you'll know. In the meantime, I'm trying my damnedest. I've got something brewing right now, but why even bother talking about it? Because who the hell knows?
Well, it's, I know exactly how you feel. And like I said, I funded my own film for $15,000, and people went, "What are you, crazy?"
Mm-hmm.
And then
just spent 20 of my own recently.
Yeah,
too, so I appreciate that.
And it's I'm going to go for self-distribution just because I know a lot of people who make indie films and get those distribution deals never see a dime from any of it, and they spend a lot more money than I'm spending. And so, it's like I just want to keep doing it. But no, I know the same thing. I had a really great. We're moving to California on the 26th, I think, or that's when we get the truck. And I had a job all lined up, and we made. Are you still there?
I am.
Okay. Oh. Let's see. We lost him for a second.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's okay. And we'll let you go in a moment.
Okay.
I realize your time is valuable, and this is just us kind of post-show bantering. But
no,
yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
Well, we're glad. I always enjoy it too. And this, I just as an aside, I will say that this is one of the great privileges of doing the show, is that the people that come on do have a good time, and I feel so good about that. I don't want them to think like, "Oh God, I can't wait to get off," like this guy, this sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. So it means a lot to me that people do enjoy coming on the show. So thank you again for that. But
yeah, certainly.
But I think for anyone listening who wants to be a filmmaker or special effects artist or anything like that, yeah, it's the same thing happened to me. We got the truck reserved. We gave our notice. They've actually sold the house we're renting, and everything is set up. And then the job that I had that was going to pay for everything vanished. So I've like emergency production meeting over the phone tomorrow with a treatment that I. Like I said before on the show, I think it's just like, having a bath, and this idea came and went. It's simple. I think I can do it as an animation to make it look epic, like Samurai Jack, one of my favorite cartoons.
Yeah, it's so good.
I think, I could do a whole, one day I'm going to do a podcast, just me rambling about how great Samurai Jack is. I wish cinema would do more like Samurai Jack does, but, I'm thinking to myself, okay, Frank Frazetta, Alien Planet, Samurai Jack, very simple premise. And I sat up in the bathtub and went, I got it. And I just went, and my investor said, hey, maybe we can talk about, since this one opportunity went away, maybe we can talk about this other thing. but we're going to need most of that budget for actors. And I went, wait, animation. And I was thinking about, like I said, Stan Winston's School of Character Arts. They have the Trash Bag Monster tutorial, and they have like the Kyoto brothers talking about building sets out of things that you find, in the backyard and that sort of thing. And I went, I think I can do this. And again, from a design perspective, pre-production, I feel really excited because I feel, doing those, even if they're sketchy storyboards, just, these kind of epic landscapes and strange creatures. And we kind of, it was my daughter's 11th birthday, and we took her to the San Antonio Zoo, and I just started taking pictures of every animal, going like, this bird is going to be a character that this bird's going to be this that these people ride, and this lizard over here, and look at how ugly that fish is. I'm going to take a picture of that and that sort of thing. So it's like I said, but it's kind of it is a, like I said, I guess you do kind of have these existential moments. Especially if you have an idea that you really love and you can't wait to do, and then the bottom drops out on it. You kind of you sock that, or you put that in your back pocket. Like, maybe there's something I can apply that to later on. Yeah. So, but anyway, like I said, I don't want to keep you much longer. I know you're very busy, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to see you and talk to you.
It's so nice to see you. Well, come on out, guys.
Yeah. We will. We'll. Like I said, she's working at the moment for a makeup company that keeps they keep laying off people so she can't get vacation time. And I'm trying to tell her, like, I need someone to drive our truck because I have to help my wife with driving the family. And it's like, Jenna, drive the truck. I was like, ADI lent me some animatronic tentacles for my movie. I was like, I need to return them. You drive the truck over. We go to return the tentacles before we fly you back. You meet Tom and Alec. You take a tour of the showroom. I want you, and I'm hoping by that point she's so starry-eyed she'll be like,
I'm already starry-eyed.
I need to move out here. I know. I'm one of these people, like, my wife and I are the kind of people, we take chances on things all the time, which is probably idiotic in a lot of ways, because then we're going like, oh my God, we just committed to this. What the hell are we going to do? Like, but it always ends up working out. So now I'm trying to teach Jenna to be as reckless as we are.
Perfect.
I can be reckless with myself. It's my kids that I can't be reckless with.
Well, one is grown and one wants to be an actor.
Yes,
so,
yes.
That's reckless in itself.
Yeah.
You got to manage that one, Jenna.
But
well, he looks like Leonardo DiCaprio, so he's probably got a little edge there.
Okay, good.
I didn't recognize Leonardo DiCaprio when I met him, and I think he thought I was making fun of him, but I wasn't. I didn't. He was a teenager still. I worked at a comic book store. But anyway, all right. Well, we're gonna let you go, but thank you so much again. Wait, we're doing. Wait, hold on a second.
Sure.
Jenna wants to do a picture of you on the screen. Hey, can I do a selfie? Can we get it?
I'll get closer.
Hang on. I gotta turn it around.
The audience is listening to us do a selfie. Is the mic in the way? Okay.
No, the mic's good. What's that look on my face?
What did I do? Oh,
no.
You did a look. Okay.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to look. Here, I'll get you guys.
Wait, you gotta
That's
get it. It's like
oddest selfie I've ever been a part of.
People are just gonna think that we're gonna post these pictures and they're gonna be like, they just pulled a picture of them on Google, and so, you got it.
Here, I'm gonna get you guys.
Should I get?
Excellent.
Now the post show is just people listening to us take selfies.
Yeah.
Apologies to my Patreon subscribers, but thank you so much, Patreon subscribers, because it's a passion project, but it always helps to have that little bit of extra support, especially right now. So, okay. Well, thank you very much. I think I've said that 100 times now.
It's quite an honor.
And
thank you. Thank you very much to you guys too.
And tell everyone else on Face Off, if any of them. I've been trying to get Mackenzie on the show for a long time, and she said yes several times, but then never gets back to me, which I'm sure she's busy. So, but I'd love to hear her take on the show as well. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll send her a message and try and shame her into it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Well, anytime,
best way.
listen, anytime anybody from the show wants to come on, and I actually would hope to get more guests on the show that were contestants too. I see like Rashad is building his own shop, and
Oh, good.
Frank Ippolito,
Ippolito.
he's on Tested now,
Yeah.
which is amazing. So it's like I want to hear how some of those people are doing, because they've taken their experiences from Face Off and run with them, which I think is really great. So anyway, all right. Well, you have a good one. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you again at some point.
I hope to see you out here.
Yeah,
We will be.
All right.
That's a promise.
Wonderful. All right, look me up. We'll talk soon.
Okay, take
Absolutely.
care. Thanks.
Thank you,
All right.
Neville.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that's it. That's the end of the post show.
Love Neville.
So,
He's awesome. I love him.
all right. Well, thank you again, Patreon supporters,
Thank you.
and we will be back with another episode soon.